Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, continuing our Total Warhammer 3 look at legendary lords and heroes that could be added to the factions in the game. Following the release of the roadmap for the next 12 months about lords and heroes being added to the game, Harry the Hammer being added to Warriors of Chaos as a legendary hero, and my passion for Warhammer Fantasy Battle, which I've been playing since about 1992. So we're looking at them in alphabetical order, and we're currently looking at the Tomb Kings. Keeping with the theme of only focusing on those that are either very, very famous in the lore, but more likely have appeared in their army book, had a model and had rules, to keep the list quite narrow, as with the amount of lore that's out there for Warhammer Fantasy in hundreds of books and decades of written lore, there's lots of characters out there, so we're trying to keep it as narrow as possible in terms of what I think are the possible choices and who I would recommend for the Tomb Kings. Now, Tomb Kings in an interesting place right now. Not a bad faction. They've got 4 lords: Cetra, the obvious one, Arcan, High Queen Kalida, Grand Hierophant Katep, all in 8th edition, in terms of that was they were lords in the 8th edition before Warhammer Fantasy was stopped, and obviously Tomb Kings were completely removed from the game going forward. Possible lords out there you've got that wasn't in the book. I mean, we've got all the lords that were in the book, but the other possible lord out there for me would be Sehenesmet, the Vizier of Qatar. And essentially was a specialist in animating constructs. So for a number of centuries was focused on that. So I think that could be quite an interesting lord choice, who is a specialist around the constructs. But outside of that, there's not that many other lords that really spring to mind to fit within the Tomb Kings as they currently sit. Though I do think there's a few heroes in here. When we look at, they don't have any current heroes, but you've got the Herald Nekaf. Nekaf was essentially, again, personal bodyguard to Cetra. I'm always a bit wary of bodyguards because then you go, oh, why is this legendary hero now in a Kalida army and so on? But, Herald Nekaf, he's well known. And is known for being a ferocious foe in battle. Prince Apophas, clearly my favourite. I love the model. It's a great story. Yes, it's a take off The Mummy, and The Mummy Returns. Essentially, he was a prince who tried to take his brother's throne. He ends up killing his family, and then he's punished by, funny old thing, being buried in a tomb, alive with a whole bunch of scarabs. So essentially, Assyrian, the god of death, has claimed his soul, and now when he comes back, he basically comes back with a sort of a body made up of all these scarabs, and so he sort of teleports around all the place. His skull is on top of this pile of scarabs. And the body uses the same knife that he used to murder his family. So he's doomed to spending eternity sending souls essentially back to the god of death. So I like his story. I like how he looks. I think he would be a really cool addition as a legendary hero into the game. He would be different, so I think that would be quite nice. But you can't forget, you got Ramhotep the Visionary, probably the most well-known and revered Necrotect in all of Tomb Kings. So, having a legendary hero Necrotect in there, I think, is also not a bad choice. But Apophas, for me, really stands out the most as offering something different and cool, and a cool look and a cool mechanic, potentially, with the Tomb Kings. So that is my take on who I think could be added to the Tomb Kings roster in terms of lords and heroes. Again, fairly straightforward one for me with these. Does Senesnet need to be added in? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the Tomb Kings are pretty good with the lords they've got. But the heroes, maybe they have more legendary heroes. I don't know. That's kind of how I would look at it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it though, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And if you disagree with anything I said, then put it in the comments down below. And if there's any character or hero you think should be in the game, we could have a discussion about who and why you think they should be added to the faction. And if you want to see more videos, please hit that subscribe button. It's totally free for you to do. It means a lot for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl, and I'll see you very soon.